Now we begin the English language transmission from Pyongyang, the capital of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea.
Here is Mr. Carlos, son of General Kim Il-sung. Honor Prisoner Mir Carlos, son of General Kim Il-sung.
You are listening to Voice of Korea News Now. The Society for the Promotion of the Relations between Austria and the DPRK recently posted on its internet homepage the full text of respect to Kim Il-sung's famous work, "Let us march forward dynamically towards final victory," holding higher the banner of Honggun along with his picture.
Revolutionary activities of Supreme Commander of the Korean People's Army, Kim Il-sung, were recently reported in different countries. Media of China, Nigeria, Switzerland, Mongolia, Mozambique, and Indonesia reported the news of his guidance to the all-army publicity officials meeting and his field guidance to different units and guidance to work of different sectors of the People's Army. Media of China, Nigeria, and Iran carried photographs of respected Marshal Kim Il-sung.
The news of the March 2013 plenary meeting of the Central Committee of the Workers' Party of Korea was reported on the 1st and the 2nd by mass media of Indonesia, Peru, Switzerland, Brazil, China, Iran, Myanmar, Britain, France, Venezuela, Uruguay, and Russia. Media of Indonesia, Switzerland, and Brazil printed photographs of respect to Kim Jong-un.
Preparatory Committee for celebrating the Day of the Sun was formed in the restful locality of Norway on the 4th. The Preparatory Committee decided to organize various political and cultural events in praise of the sacred revolutionary life and immortal achievements of the great leader President Kim Il-sung on the occasion of his birth anniversary, the Day of the Sun.
A reading session and the seminar on Volume 1 of Part 1, The Anti-Japanese Revolution from the Great Leader President Kim Il-sung's Reminiscences with the Century, took place in Romania and Ethiopia on the occasion of the Day of the Sun. Present at the events were personages of different sections and other people in the countries. Speakers praised President Kim Il-sung as a great leader who was born into a patriotic and revolutionary family and devoted his all to the prosperity of the country and the happiness of the people throughout his life.
Russian and Bangladeshi newspapers recently featured the Day of the Sun. The Russian newspaper Komsomolskaya Pravda dedicated one whole page to articles of different titles under the caption "DPRK Carrying Forward of the Socialist Cause," which praised the undying feats of the great Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il and respected Marshal Kim Jong-un, illustrated with the portraits of smiling Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il, portrait of Kim Jong-un, and photographs of their immortal achievements. The Bangladeshi newspaper Industry carried an article titled "Kim Il-sung Shining," illustrated with his smiling portrait.
The State Stamp Bureau brought out an individual stamp in commemoration of the 20th anniversary of the great Kim Jong-il's election as chairman of the National Defense Commission of the DPRK. Seen in the stamp with the emblem of the DPRK printed in the middle are flying flags of the Workers' Party of Korea and the DPRK and colors. Written in the upper part of the stamp are words in commemoration of the 20th anniversary of the great leader Kim Jong-il's election as chairman of the National Defense Commission of the DPRK and Kiche 82 or 1993 to Kiche 102 or 2013.
Preparations are making headway at the final stage for the 15th Kim Il-sung Year Festival to be held on the occasion of the Day of the Sun. The theme of the festival for this year is Kim Il-sung Year in full bloom in praise of the might of the powerful Baekdusan nation. The general and partial designs for the festival venue have been completed, and activities are rapidly promoted to furnish the venue perfectly in landscaping formation. the festival posters have already been published. What is important in the preparations for the festival is to grow the flower of the sun wonderfully. Despite unfavorable weather conditions, the people across the country are devoting all their wisdom and passion to bring Kim Il-sung into bloom beautifully until the day of the sun. The festival will be participated in by armed forces institutions, ministries and national institutions, service persons of the People's Army, working people of different sections, school youth and children, overseas Koreans, foreign diplomatic missions and international agencies in Pyongyang and other foreigners.
The Premier Soccer League took place in Pyongyang from early March as part of the Mangyongdae Pride Sports Games. The Sunbong and April 25th teams came first respectively in the men's and women's events. The Mabong team and the team of the Ministry of Light Industry placed second and third respectively in men's event, and the Myeohyangsan and Ponghwasan teams in women's event. The second leg started on the 6th. Kim Yang-gun, Secretary of the Central Committee of the Workers' Party of Korea, made the field survey of the Kaesong Industrial Zone on the 8th. As regards the serious issue of the zone raised due to the recent hostilities and North-targeted war moves of the United States and the South Korean conservative authorities. He looked around different units and production sites in the Kaesong Industrial Zone, the traffic inspection center of the zone, and the central demarcation line of the North-South Road on the military demarcation line. Concerning that the Kaesong Industrial Zone cannot do its work on a normal basis owing to the senseless acts of the South Korean warmongers, he discussed measures on the spot and gave sectors concerned specific tasks on making full preparations to cope with any situation in the zone. Kim Yang-gun, Secretary of the Central Committee of the Workers' Party of Korea, made public a press statement on the 8th on taking important measures concerning the situation of the Kaesong Industrial Zone. The press statement said, "Despite our repeated warnings, the South Korean confrontation fanatics continue to make intolerable malignant outbursts insulting our dignity." Worse still, Minister of National Defense Kim Kwan-jin, talking about operations to save hostages, disclosed his wicked intention to bring a special unit of the U.S. Army to the Kaesong Industrial Zone. It shows that the South Korean war hawks heated for war fever scheme to make the zone the source of provocation of war on the north. Originally, the Kaesong Industrial Zone was built as a symbol of reconciliation, cooperation and reunification, as we granted special benefits to Tung Ju-young, honorary chairman of the Hyundai Group of South Korea, valuing his patriotic will for reunification. We left a wide area on the military demarcation line where the armed forces of the North and the South are sharply confronted entirely to the South Korean business firms. It was a bold decision based on the great love for the nation and compatriotism, as well as a manifestation of the firm will for independent reunification, peace and prosperity, pursuant to the spirit of our nation itself of the historic June 15th Inter-Korean Joint Declaration. We can no longer tolerate the situation in which the Kaesong Industrial Zone, the offspring of the June 15th Joint Declaration, is reduced to a theater of confrontation with fellow countrymen and military provocation, apart from its original character and mission, due to such vicious confrontation fanatics as Kim Kwan-jin. Now that the South Korean authorities answer our magnanimity and compatriotism with hostility, we cannot but make an important decision on the issue of the Kaesong Industrial Zone. We declare the following important measures. 1. All our employees in the Kaesong Industrial Zone shall be withdrawn. 2. Now that the South Korean authorities and military warmongers plan to make the Kaesong Industrial Zone the hotspot of confrontation with fellow countrymen and provocation of war on the North while desecrating our dignity, we shall suspend work in the zone for the time being and examine whether to maintain or shut it up. The Central General Guidance Bureau for the Development of Special Zone shall do the practical work concerning the important measures, including withdrawal of our employees and suspension of work in the industrial zone. How the situation would develop afterwards entirely depends on the attitude of the South Korean authorities.
Brazilian, Indian, and Nigerian newspapers and websites recently reported a statement of the Supreme Commander of the Korean People's Army. The Korean Army and people will demonstrate their resolute will for countermeasures through practical military action under the different titles, including DPRK calls upon the world progressives to check the U.S. nuclear war moves, and DPRK ready for action to strike the United States.
Foreign media recently reported a special statement of the DPRK government, political parties and organizations. Newspapers and televisions of Syria, Cambodia, Peru and Tanzania reported a special statement in detail, along with pictures of respected Kim Jong-un. Media of Iran, Myanmar, Nepal and France reported the full text or gist of the special statement.
Solidarity meetings, reading sessions and film shows were recently held in Nigeria and Benin in support of the statements of the Supreme Command of the Korean People's Army and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the DPRK. Present there were many people, including personages of different sections, including the People's Democratic Party of Nigeria and the Beninese Group for the Study of Kim Il-sungism, Kim Jong-ilism. The statements were read out at the event. Speakers at the event said the United States instigated the UN Security Council through their resolutions and sanctions under the pretext of the DPRK satellite launch and underground nuclear test to bring the Korean people to their knees. They stressed that the Korean army and people, single-heartedly united around the respected Marshal Kim Jong-un, will win in the confrontation with the United States and in the war for national reunification. The DPRK documentary, Right from Korea, was screened at the film shows.
A joint statement was recently issued by the British Association for the Study of Sungun Policy, the British Group for the Study of the Juche Idea, and the British chapter of the Korean Friendship Association in support of the special statement of the DPRK government, political parties and organizations. And statements were made public by the Arab Socialist Party of Egypt, the People's Front of Workers, Peasants and Students of Peru, the United Communist Movement of Bulgaria, and the Kim Jong-il Youth Group for the Study of the Juche Idea in Vienna, Austria, denouncing the United States and the South Korean puppets for their nuclear war moves.
The South Korean Council of Christian Churches released an appeal for peace of the Korean Peninsula. The appeal said that South Korea-US joint military exercises against the North should be discontinued for co-prosperity of the South and the North. It demanded the present regime make a policy for ensuring peace. The organization called for an emergency prayer meeting and a seminar for preventing war and defending peace.
And that's the end of the news read by Lee Hyang-sing and Choi Jung-nam. This is Voice of Korea.
An opening your meal covers footsteps. Here is an immortal masterpiece, Song of Korea, written by the Korean leader President Kim Il-sung during the anti-Japanese revolutionary struggle. Great single commander demonstrated dignity of Korea. On April 9th, 1982 or 1993, the Korean people elected the great Kim Il-sung, chairman of the National Defense Commission of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. Upon the exciting news, the people across the country exclaimed with delight. It is a pride and greatest fortune of the nation to have a general Kim Il-sung here. Thanks to him, the future of Korea is bright and rosy. It was an expression of the absolute support and trust of the army and the people for Kim Jong-il with prominent political and military ability. During the anti-Japanese war, Kim Jong-il was born and grew up, hearing the gun report as lullaby. In his teens, he fostered the wisdom and stratagem of brilliant commander at the operation table of his Supreme Command. And he guided the People's Army from Choche 49 or 1960. In the late 20th century, the world situation was complex because some socialist countries collapsed. The Korean people also faced grim trials. Unprecedentedly arduous days continued in Korea due to repeated natural disasters and the isolation and suffocation movements of the imperialists after the great national misfortune of the demise of the great President Kim Il-sung, founder of the Socialist Korea, in Choche 83 or 1994. Concerning the then situation, foreign publications wrote that the existence of North Korea itself was a miracle. Kim Jong-il held higher the banner of Sungun or military-first policy, saying Sungun is the life, independence, and dignity of Korea. He called on service persons of the People's Army on the forefront, ranging from the post in Yang Oos to forefront units, secluded island posts, Pass, Mount Osuna, and height 351 and 1211, crossing road passes and plowing region waves. Under the great banner of Sungun, Korea has become an invincible military power, and the Korean People's Army grown stronger as the formidable revolutionary army of Mountbatten, demonstrating their dignity and might. Korea has become a man-made with satellite manufacturer and launcher, nuclear state, and powerful knowledge-based economy, dynamically advancing towards the world. Indeed, the exploits performed by the great Kim Jong-il for the prosperity of Socialist Korea were extraordinary. Witnessing the reality of Korea, the world spoke highly of the strategy and courage of Kim Jong-il, who brought the great victory without yielding to any threat and blackmail of the Yaesu imperialists. It is an unimaginable reality that the solemn prelude to the building of a prosperous nation sounded in Korea where the defense of the country in confrontation with the United States is regarded as a mysterious sin, and maintenance of status quo without falling down as a miracle. A great miracle was brought about in Korea under the banner of Sungun. A lot of Choche iron, Choche fiber, and Choche fertilizer were produced, and the draft to surpass the cutting edge was pressed across the country. Large, medium, and minor power stations have been built, and many factories reconstructed in all parts of the country, and hundreds of thousands of hectares of land resumed. Not only that, the Pyongyang combined food film and the flood producers and many houses have been newly built, facelifting the country. Chang Hyung-yeon, director of the Department of the Ministry of Light Industry, has this to say.
정말이지 지나오는 날들은 우리 있는 모두가 얼마나 위대한 소금 명령을 모시는가를
The bygone days are significant days reminding all our people of what a great Sungun commander they had. As the great Kim Jong-il consolidated the military might of the country as firmly as today, the national meeting of light industrial workers could be held some time ago, even in the touch-and-go situation, where a war may break out at any time, due to the repeated resolutions on sanctions and nuclear warmoves of various imperialists and their followers, I think. At the time, our hearts swelled with the pride and honor of victor. The greatness of the country and nation depends on all the great leader they have. historical experience shows that the country led by a young leader will be weak, though it has a large territory and a large population. The immediate exploits of the great Kim Jong-il for the times in history for the country and people will shine at all ages. Then listen to a feature program. Great Sunken Commander demonstrated dignity of Korea. This is Voice of Korea. Please enjoy your meal, chorus. Receive our salute. Lovely your string orchestra, we believe in you as in heaven. Light industrial workers increasing production. The March 2013 plenary meeting of the Central Committee of the Workers' Party of Korea set forth a strategic line on building up the economy and nuclear armed forces simultaneously. In support of the line, the light industrial officials and workers with the consciousness that they are playing an important role in the improvement of the people's living are concentrating all efforts on producing a mode of quality consumer goods by fully mobilizing the productive potentiality to the maximum, despite the great situation created due to the nuclear war exercises of the United States and its followers. Keeping in their hearts the unshakable will and resolve of the party to let the Korean people enjoy all luxuries of socialism as early as possible, workers of the Kim Jong-il Pyongyang textile mill have set a high target of cloth production and are actively promoting its implementation. They have also built a base to produce tens of millions of meters of hair cloth and are directing efforts to localizing the raw and other materials needed for production of various clothing. Workers in the field of the leading industry are also registering successes in the work to produce leather goods. The Pyongyang nuclear factory has made technical preparations for production of nuclear by computer and introduced advanced scientific and technological methods to all kinds of designs and production of tissues, further increasing the quality of the goods. Officials and workers of the Pyongyang data factory are diversifying the patterns and colors of goods and remaking pattern designs in keeping with the demand of the new century, further raising the quality of the commodities. The Ryuan footwear factory, the Ryangsan disabled soldiers injection molded goods factory, and the footwear factories across the country have set targets to make various shapes of shoes on high level, and are making efforts to hit those. All the light industrial establishments have built up strong scientific and technical forces and are conducting active enough technical innovation movement and concentrating efforts on increasing the ability to develop new goods. The successes in the production of consumer goods will be further expanded day by day, thanks to the devoted efforts of the light industrial workers who are carrying through the coldest line on building up the economy and nuclear armed forces simultaneously, while frustrating the reckless nuclear war moves of the US imperialists and their followers. You are listening to the content titled Light Industrial Workers Increasing Production. This is Voice of Korea. Union Prisoner Lee Solo Lee chorus When Determined Korea Does. Here is a trombone solo. This is the fatherland where I live.
Dear listeners, with this we conclude the English language service of Voice of Korea from the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. Voice of Korea presents its English language service for Southeast Asia between 5 and 6 hours UTC on 13,650 kHz and 15,105 kHz, and between 10 and 11 hours UTC on 11,735 kHz and 13,650 kHz. For Middle East and North Africa between 16 and 17 hours UTC on 9,890 kHz and 11,645 kHz, and between 19 and 20 hours UTC on 9,875 kHz and 11,635 kHz. For Southern Africa between 19 and 20 hours UTC on 7,210 kHz and 11,910 kHz. And for Central and South Americas between 4 and 5 hours UTC on 11,745 kHz, 13,760 kHz, and 15,180 kHz, and between 10 and 11 hours UTC on 11,710 kHz and 15,180 kHz. Goodbye, this is Pyongyang.